Hi, I'm Scott Jenkins, Head Accountant for the Lafourche Parish School Board. Today I'm going to walk you through a quick demonstration of effective methods to search for a vendor. When schools submit a request for a new vendor to be created, the school should periodically use this search method to find out that the vendor has been created. If your vendor does not appear within a reasonable time, you can send an email to purchasing to determine if there is something holding up the vendor approval. Upon opening MUNIS, there are two possible views that you may be utilizing. So if you don't recognize the view that I first demonstrate, stay tuned in till the very end of the program, and I will also demonstrate how to change views and a quick walkthrough of utilizing the alternative view. The program we'll be using today is called Vendor Inquiry. You can either migrate to Vendor Inquiry through the Tyler menu by going to Financials, Accounts Payable, Vendor Processing, and then selecting Vendor Inquiry. Or any time that you are uncertain of exactly the location within the directory of folders. If you use the Menu tab, you can begin searching for the program you like, and it will limit the folders in which you have to search. So typing Vendor Inquiry into the Menu tab will tell you that you're only able to find a program matching those results within these folders. Oftentimes, the same program can be accessed from within more than one folder. An additional option that may aid you in future searches: for programs that you frequently use, right-clicking on that program will also add it to your favorites list of programs accessible through the Programs tab. Today I'll begin a search utilizing a vendor school specialty. So to start my search, I'm going to click on the magnifying glass. The most common field that you'll search by is actually the vendor name. However, you can search by any field that is not grayed out. So using school specialty, typing those exact words, there is a vendor named precisely school specialty. As you see at the bottom, there's actually 8 of those vendors. I can flip through using the arrows, or I can also press the browse button for a listing of all of those vendors. Selecting the vendor I'm interested in and hitting accept or green check will load the vendor's record for my viewing. When there are multiple vendors for the same company, you may often have to look through that vendor to select the most relevant address information that matches the company you are ordering from. Now moving on, assuming that we had no results by typing school specialty, we could include a wildcard. So if I type school specialty and include an asterisk or a star at the end of the name and hit search, it's basically telling the system to search for anything that begins with school specialty, and whatever comes after that, I'll take that data as well. As you can see, adding that asterisk to the end resulted in 14 hits instead of 8. The best search method is to place that asterisk before and after the terms that you're looking for. And what that does is it basically allows it to search for school specialty anywhere within the vendor name. And again, you'll see there's only 14 results. Also search for vendors by information other than the vendor name. As you see, this vendor has an email address, also has a tax ID number. Once again, hitting my search magnifying glass, I know that this vendor has an email address, and if I am looking at their invoice or order form and have their email, but I'm not exactly sure how the vendor name ultimately ended up in the system, I can search based on that email, and I can use those same wildcards. So school special surrounded by wildcards will return any email address containing that information. And as you can see, there is one vendor with that email address. Also, I may know the vendor's tax ID number or federal ID number, but not know their precise vendor name. I may be looking at their W-9. Typing their federal ID number and hitting enter or green check will return all vendors associated with that tax ID number. And as you can see, there are 7. Again, I can use the browse button to view all of those specific vendors and click green check or accept to view that. I'm still not satisfied with my results of my search. I can become less specific. For instance, we were looking for school specialty. Assuming we did not find our vendor, if I were less specific and looked for anything containing the word school anywhere within the vendor name by surrounding it with asterisks and hitting enter, you will see that we have 194 results. I can quickly flip through those results by pressing the browse button until I locate the vendor that I was looking for. I can further sort my results by vendor name or alphanumeric name. I'm going to suggest that you utilize the vendor name. You'll also see the status of that vendor, as we may have inactive vendors in our system as well. Once you've located your vendor, depending on what you're trying to identify about that vendor, there are also other tabs that contain additional information. For the majority of you, you're just looking to see that the vendor exists and that it has a vendor number. That information is always contained on the first main tab of your search. Another benefit of the vendor inquiry screen is quick access to things like invoices, POs, or checks that are from or issued to that vendor. Now, you may see more information than pertains to your school. However, it is a listing that will identify information relative to that vendor. So if I were searching for invoices, searching all active invoices would return any invoice that has been posted but not yet paid. I can alternatively select blank, which will give me all invoices, both paid and unpaid. As I previously mentioned, there are 2 views that you may use in MUNIS. The view we just recently utilized is called Silverlight, and I do believe that MUNIS is actually migrating all future versions towards that profile, so you may want to get accustomed to using it. However, if you prefer the desktop client version, which I have to admit I do still use as well, clicking Profile, choosing the desktop client version and selecting OK will change your entire view of every program that you enter. You can frequently switch back and forth between these views. The functionality is mostly the same. It's more a preference item as to how you're accustomed to seeing it. So using the same scenario we just performed, if we do a menu search for vendor inquiry, you'll now see the alternative view. All of the functionality within this view is exactly the same as the previous version demonstrated. Just looks a little different. So if I select my hourglass and use the same terms we were previously searching for, double check my spelling, you'll see that there are 14 vendors, same results that we had using the other search. Also, the buttons offering you further drill down into invoices and POs are simply listed upon the left side of your screen. Thank you for watching today's demonstration.